And what it does is it goes from technology savvy people, young people, to myself and all my friends, right? The boomers. It's a boomer wrapper. The ETF is a boomer wrapper to get access to this fundamentally better savings technology.
Hey guys, welcome back to Everyday Finance. In this video, Mark Yusko discusses Bitcoin and crypto. According to Mark Yusko, blockchain technology and Bitcoin, specifically, serve as the foundation for the first use of the case of blockchain technology fundamentally disrupts the financial industry. Services have been disrupted in a similar manner as the internet disrupted media and commerce, and the printing press disrupted the church. Back then, there was a question about the ETFs from BlackRock 5 years ago. Larry was pondering over it. This index is associated with illicit activities and is used by individuals involved in illegal activities, including terrorism. It is important to be cautious and vigilant. We strongly dislike it. In June of last year, Larry followed in the footsteps of Mark Yusko and submitted an application for. He seemed so confident about that ETF, but it turned out to be a disappointment. Mark Yusko's endorsement didn't hold up, proving him wrong. Yusko assumedly, he would be the sole recipient of approval. Yusko believed they would attempt to deceive others by claiming that Larry was associated with them. He's a member of the group, and we believe he should be the leader, along with others who are ambitious, like Lit. You're familiar with the 21 shares that we have a stake in, as well as our ownership in Bitwise. You guys are unable to play, but thankfully Yusko was proven wrong and all of them were approved. And what it does is transition from technology to smart individuals, millennials, and Gen Z individuals. To himself and all his friends, it's all about the boomers. The ETF is like a financial analyst, wrapped up in a boomer wrapper. An innovative wrapper to gain access to this superior savings technology, and lots of things Mark Yusko discussed. So please watch the video to end, and share this video, and subscribe our channel Everyday Finance. Thanks.
Fundamentally, blockchain technology and Bitcoin in specific as the first use case of blockchain technology fundamentally disrupts financial services. The same way the internet disrupted media and commerce, the way the printing press disrupted the church way back when. So the question on the ETFs, BlackRock, 5 years ago, Larry Fink, it's an index of money laundering. It's for bad people, terrorists, and you crazy. Yeah. No, we hate it. June of last year, Larry's like, I'm in, and applied for an ETF. I'm like, it's over. It was definitely going to be approved. I started talking about it. And look, I was wrong. I thought he would be the only one to be approved. I thought they'd pull a really fast one and say, look, Larry's part of us. He's part of the group. And so we want him to be the king. And we want all the others that are upstarts, like 21 shares, which we own a piece of, and Bitwise, which we own a piece of. You guys can't play. Thankfully, I was wrong. And so they approved them all. And what it does is it goes from technology savvy people, young people, to myself and all my friends, right? The boomers. It's a boomer wrapper. The ETF is a boomer wrapper to get access to this fundamentally better savings technology. People say, but not your keys, not your coins. Fine. Not going to debate that. But here's the thing. Tell my 85-year-old dad that he doesn't own Bitcoin because he's in the ETF. You're never going to convince him that he doesn't own Bitcoin. He doesn't have to physically hold his keys to get the benefit of Bitcoin as a savings technology. And you say, but. Well, but what? Max Kaiser says, they're gonna seize it all. Okay, let's go down that path. Let's say they tried that. If they were to seize all of the accounts at Merrill Lynch and Bank of America and UBS and everywhere else that bought this, security, it'd be a violation of U.S. law. So there'd be some ramifications. And you can say, oh, eminent domain for national security. Okay, let's see how that flies and how many votes you lose. But here's the problem. What does that do for the rest of us? We're happy, right? It's like Satoshi Nakamoto said, what happens when coins are lost or stolen? Consider it a donation to the rest of the community. As long as there's one left, it doesn't have to be one Satoshi, 1/100 millionth of a Bitcoin. As long as that isn't under the control of the evil BlackRock, the whole value of the network goes up, no matter how many you cancel. So I actually don't think they're in the business of canceling. I think Larry's in the business of making money, charging fees. And at the end of the day, this technology, I believe, is a superior savings technology.
100%.
It is gold, right? And gold is money. And this is the part that it just gets lost in all of the nonsense and all of the discussion. At the end of the day, gold has been money for 5,000 years. And what do I mean by that? Money is an asset that exists in the absence of a liability.
According to Mark Yusko, if you had the foresight or good fortune to invest a small sum of money, even a modest sum of money could have been shifted from traditional investments to Bitcoin, potentially increasing your wealth. You managed to save yourself, and Mark Yusko, not sure if you've ever had the chance to listen to Wes Casares speak, but if you haven't, people highly recommend it. Listen to this. Mark Yusko, don't know who he is, but you should definitely seek him out. Weez discusses this as he was an early adopter of Bitcoin. Incredibly early on, he founded Zappo, which later merged with Coinbase, known as the epitome of financial security. Wentz has discussed his custody situation on 3 separate occasions. A family in Argentina has suffered a devastating loss, losing absolutely everything and had to begin anew due to the government's decision to devalue their currency. It seems that the events of a century ago have slipped from people's memories. Let's back to the Mark Yusko interview.
Okay, there are a couple other assets that you could say are like that, platinum or silver, but they don't have the belief and custom that a single ounce of gold for 5,000 years has bought a fine person's suit. Pretty great store of value. Ups and downs of currency, 775 paper currencies in the history of the world, 3/4 of them gone, no longer exist. Wow. Gone down 100%. And the rest are on their way to down 100%. And that's the key. An ounce of gold is always an ounce of gold. Well, unless you melt it down and do like the Romans did and take their silver coins and put in bronze and stuff. And then they screw themselves, and that's the end of the empire. But an ounce of gold is an ounce of gold. One Bitcoin is one Bitcoin. Yeah. It never changes. So the price went up. Bitcoin didn't grow. It didn't get more efficient. One Bitcoin is one Bitcoin. What happened was the currency that we all associate with it, right? Where you're sitting, it's in Aussie dollars. Where I'm sitting, it's in US dollars. In Japan, it's in
just
yen.
Quickly, Mark. I over here, we actually call them Pacific pesos because they're not doing real well.
Pacific pesos. I like that. Yeah. Or Mexican. Yeah, Pacific pesos. I like it. And what's interesting is as poorly as they're doing, they're not doing as poorly as the Bolivar or the Argentinian peso or the Turkish lira. People are like, oh, we're finally back to all-time highs. Well, kind of not actually on inflation-adjusted basis, but we're close enough. But there wasn't a bear market in Venezuela. They've been making new all-time highs for years because the Bolivar keeps going to zero. And if you were smart enough or fortunate enough or lucky enough to take a small amount of your wealth, it didn't even have to be a large amount, just a small amount, and move it out of Bolivars into Bitcoin, you saved yourself. And I don't know if you've ever heard Wences Casares speak. And if you haven't, if people listen to this don't know who he is, you should seek him out. Wences talks about this. He was one of the early Bitcoiners, super early. Yeah. He built Zappo, which then became part of Coinbase. Yep. It's like the Swiss bank of custody. And Wences talked about 3 times, not once, not twice, 3 times, his family in Argentina lost everything.
Yeah.
Like literally everything, and had to start over because the government devalued their currency. People forget 100 years ago, well, 120 years ago now, 120 years ago, Argentina was the third most powerful country in the world, third largest country in the world. And today they're an also ran banana republic. And it's because of bad leadership, kleptocracy, corruption, all the things that happen everywhere. And started with Rome. It happened in Spain. It happened in the Netherlands. It happened in the UK. It's happening in America right now. And every empire eventually falls. And the way you protect yourself is by having a store of value, a hard asset. In the past, that was gold. In the future, I believe it will be Bitcoin. Why? Well, Bitcoin is structurally equally hard, meaning it's equally scarce. The amount of gold that's mined every year roughly equals the amount that's lost or stolen or kind of used up. So it's interestingly hard. Bitcoin, as of the last halving, became equally, the stock to flow ratio was roughly the same as gold. With this halving in 3 weeks, it will be more scarce than gold. So it'll be a better, harder currency.
According to Mark Yusko, Bitcoin has a similar level of scarcity as gold, making it equally hard to structurally. Each year, the mining output roughly matches the amount lost, stolen, or depleted. It's quite challenging to say the least. Bitcoin, just like the stock-to-flow ratio, has become equally significant after the recent halving event. The value of this asset closely mirrored that of gold, and it is expected to increase in the next 3 weeks. It is rarer than gold, making it a more robust currency. If you learned something from this video, then please like this video and subscribe our channel Everyday Finance, and we will meet in next video. Thanks!